Hello and welcome to episode 18 of me learning stuff and coding with LLMs, and today I'm going to continue working on the critical thinking project and specifically going to work on the question builder that we built a prompt plan for in the previous video. And this is actually the second take of this because of course it had to happen at some point. I recorded for 20 minutes and then realized that the audio was not recording for some reason. So I had to restart OBS Studio and then it was back. So a reminder to myself to check that every time I start recording. So then I have to walk you quickly through the first 20 minutes of what I did. But that is fine. We have the prompt plan here, and which we generated last time. And this was Claude 3.7 Sonnet thinking that made this for me. And first it made an implementation plan breakdown. And after that, the implementation prompts. So for the first 20 minutes of my first recording, I did this, created a basic project setup. So basically Python script using the click library to handle command line arguments, taking in category, description, model, and count, how many questions I want to generate, with some error handling and help text and documentation. So that was basically implemented and committed, and it worked fine on the first try. Then I went to prompt number 2, and this is where I'm currently at. I have implemented function, or the LLM has implemented functions for loading the OpenAI API key from environment variables, created helper functions to initialize the client, error handling, and a simple test function to test the connectivity towards OpenAI API. And that's basically it. So right before I realized it was not recording, I was just reviewing the latest changes here. So basically it is we have this init, this get API key, which is loading the API key from environment variables and throwing an error if it's not found. It is creating an OpenAI client based on the key. We have a test function that we can initiate if we do --test when we start the Python script, which basically makes a simple API call to just test if it works and catch any error if that happens. And then in the main function here, as you can see, we have a new test flag that we can use to initialize this. We're using async IO to make an async call. And yeah, this is it. And then I was working a little bit on creating an API key and figuring out how to load it from environment variables. And there are many ways you can do that. I ended up using python.env, which allows me to have a .env file in the somewhere. I put it in the root here. So I actually have a file here in the root called .env.local, but I've hidden it so I don't accidentally show it in the video here, because you should never expose your API keys. Of course, I could also just revoke the key if I accidentally exposed it, but anyway, it's better to not show it. So if I go to settings down here, click settings and search for files.include. I have added a filter for my env.local file, so it's not even showing up here in the file explorer, just to be safe. I might still accidentally expose it somehow, I don't know, but in that case I will revoke it. So in order to get the API key, you have to register an account with OpenAI and go to platform.openai.com. You have to create a project, so I have created a critical thinking project. You need to add some credits to, because the API is not for free, unlike the chatgpt.com. So I have basically, I think I got $5 credit for free, and then I have added $5 myself. So we have a little bit money to get started with. And then I went to this API keys here, and I created a new secret key called questions generator v2. And these secret keys are only visible once. So I copied it and I put it into my .env.local file, which looks like this. Create the .env file, the name of the key, and then the key. And then I'm using .env here. I'll show you how that is implemented. I have in my requirements.txt, I have a dependency on python.env, and in my question generator, I am importing load.env, and then I have a function here to, I'm not sure if all of this is necessary, but since my .env.local file is not in the same folder as my question generator, I have some extra code here to look for it in the parent directory and so on. So that's basically it. Before get API key, it's running this function here to load the environment variables, and then it will find it. So that means that I will just activate my virtual environment here. Scripts activate, and I will go into my source folder. Let's move the mouse away a little bit. Source folder, and then we can run Python. This is here, right? Yes. Python, and then question generator -- help. We are getting the help that works. We now have a -- test parameter here. Let me see if I can call it with test without the required parameters. I'm not sure, probably not. Nope. Missing option category. That is fine. So we will add -c, C, and -d for description, something, and then --test. It will try to connect, load the environment variables from my .env.local file, and the connection to OpenAI API is successful. Awesome. I have to say that I have also added .env.local to my git ignore, because it's very important that you don't check in your keys in Git. So that is basically it so far. All right. So then I will just commit all of this and call it from to, and Commit, and we are ready to go for prompt number 3. And now it's starting to get really interesting. So we're gonna start building the prompt engineering functionality in here. So enhance question generator.py to implement prompt engineering for effective question generation. Create a function, build a prompt, design the prompt template to instruct the model to generate questions in Norwegian, create age-appropriate questions for the specified age group, follow the exact JSON structure from the spec, generate meaningful follow-up questions, add relevant tags, provide the good descriptions. Yeah. So this is not super specific. In the spec, I say specifically that it's going to generate 3 follow-up questions. And I have specified the age groups and so on. So we will see. I just want to try. And let me add some proper context here. We can do, whoops, I should go to Copilot edits and a new session and add files, open editors. I also want to add the spec, perhaps where all my details are. Then paste in the prompt. Should I use a thinking model for this? I think I'll try the thinking model. Probably not necessary, but let's go. We are experimenting with all of this. So we'll just try and learn. In the meantime, let's just have a quick look at prompt 4. So then we will start trying to generate questions, it seems. That's going to be interesting. Okay, let's see what Claude says here. Yes. Not too much information so far. So let's see. Let's have a look at the spec actually. Because here I have pretty specific if I remember correctly. So the age group are these. Tags should just 3 tags. Category should always be the same as input. Always generate 3 follow-up questions. Okay, so it's still working. Added the build prompt function that constructs a comprehensive prompt for OpenAI. System message, user message with detailed instruction and example JSON structure. Perfect. Norwegian questions for the given age group. And explicit instructions about the required JSON format. Perfect. Verbose flag. Yeah, and then building an example prompt. Sounds pretty good. Let's have a look. Importing JSON. And then we have a new big function here, build prompt. With all the input parameters and the default count. Nice solid comments. Sample question, which seems to have been taken from my spec. Great. And let's look at the system message. Let me translate this. You are an expert on developing questions for for critical thinking and personal development. You are making count high quality questions in Norwegian for the age group within the category. Important rules. All questions and answers must be in Norwegian. The questions must be adapted to the age group. All questions must be within the category. Each question must have exactly 3 follow-up questions, exactly 3 tags, relevant tags, and return the answer in a valid JSON format as an array of questions. Do not generate questions that are too similar. Okay, so that's interesting. We'll try to... I have a plan to use embeddings for this, but if we can already do it in the prompt here, that's interesting. Make sure that questions and descriptions are meaningful and promotes reflection. User message. Create 50 engaging questions within the category fit for the age group. More about the category description. Every question should follow exactly this JSON structure. Yes, this is so good. Here's an example of a good question. Yes, and here we have a sample question. Okay, so not sure if we need to update this based on which category we are generating for. That we have to check. Important. Reply only with a valid JSON array of questions without extra text or explanations. Make sure that the JSON format is correct and can be parsed by a JSON parser. Return system message and user message. Very interesting. The only thing I'm thinking here is that it's quite a few input tokens, but it should not be a problem. The GPT-4o mini model is super cheap, but we definitely need to check how much this costs. If I'm going to run it many times, I don't think it's going to be a problem at all, but if I run some other models, maybe, who knows. So we have this new verbose flag, and that is it. And instead of just doing nothing, it is actually outputting this prompt, but of course it's not sending any API call or anything like that. Sounds very good, so I will just keep this and test it. So let's make something proper. Create this thing. And yeah, description. Small som framåt. Okay. Questions that are promoting critical thinking. I'll make some better descriptions here, but just to test this. Yep, okay, this is nice because I did not add the verbose flag. If I add a verbose flag, it should output the whole thing. Okay. Prompt, and we have the system message and the user message. Perfect. I think this is a good start. I want to ask Claude here if I want to ask Claude if this sample question should be based on category. Probably shouldn't have asked this in the edits part here, but let's just get some help from Claude to think about how we want to do this, because I don't want this sample question to affect all my categories. You raise a good point. The sample question would be more effective if it matched a specific category the user. This would give a better guide the AI in producing questions that fits the intended category. Here's how it would improve the build prompt function to use category-specific examples. Sounds good. Let's see. Create category-specific. Okay, so it's generating lots of stuff for me here. And also I'm not sure about the age group here, like this question will not be the same for a grown-up and a 6-year-old. But in this way it will be. So what does it say about the age group? Okay, it's okay, but I want to extract this. I want to extract the samples and category to a separate file where I can call question builder. Something like this. Let's just try. I don't want to mix in all these samples, because what if I want another category, then it's going to be messy very quickly. So let's see what it suggests here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Probably okay. The only thing I don't like with my prompt is I'm kind of telling the LLM what to do instead of allowing it to suggest better ideas. That's something I just need to keep in mind going forward. So we can have a look at question samples. So, yep, okay. Get sample question. Right. Right. Probably want to extract the categories in some sort of enum or something as well. So, okay, it's working hard on the question generator now, which is getting a little bit big. Not too bad, but it's a bit slow now. So build prompt should now, what does it do? Okay, it's getting sample question based on the category and age group. Fine. That is fine. Fine. Save all. Benefits of this approach: better separation of concerns, easier to maintain. Yes. Cleaner code. Samples can be reused in other parts of the application if needed. Added new command line option age group to specify a single age group to work with. Also made the code more flexible by adding support for specifying a particular age group via the command line. So I just want to have a look at exactly what it is doing with the age. The questions must fit the age group, yeah. I hope this is good enough, even though the samples here are kind of... I'm using the same example for all age groups, so if I have to test if that affects the output in a negative way. Hopefully not. Want to work a little bit on this before I commit, so I'm changing to 3.7 Sonnet, and I want the categories in enum. Question category enum. Should probably do the same with the age groups. Should have done that in the same prompt, but fair enough. Where is this used? Is it used? Yeah, it's used here. Can I how to navigate? Ooh, I need to learn the keyboard shortcuts for navigating this. Yeah, so it's used for some sort of validation here. Okay. So now we have this critical thinking, social intelligence, emotional intelligence, and self-confidence. Great. Keep. I hope this will work. Should work, yeah. Mm-hmm. Hopefully. Hopefully. We have to see. Will this work here? Build prompt. Sample question. Get sample question. Category. With here the category is a string. I want to build some types. Probably. Not probably. I really want to build some type safety in here. Probably. Not probably. I want to do it at some point. So here we get a string in and if category in sample question. We just need to test this. So what is one category? Of course, I can get it to write unit tests for this. Lots of stuff we can do. Let me just copy this to make sure that is correct. Oops, whoops, whoops, whoops. Messy, messy, messy. Try again. Let's run this and have a look. System message, user message. Here's an example of a good question. And the category is critical thinking, so seems to work. Right. Okay. I'm not quite happy yet. I really want to do some sort of code review on this. Do a code review on question samples and how it is used in question generator. Suggest and implement improvements. Types question mark, enums question mark, and yeah, overall I'm spending a little bit time of this because it is kind of the core of it all. this has to work well, especially when I'm going to expand into more categories and tune the questions and so on. Oh, it failed. Okay. Let's try again. See if it was just a one-time thing. Maybe we need to try another model. Wow. 502. Let's switch to GPT-4o then. Yeah, maybe Claude is experiencing some issues. Okay, so it suggested a enum for age group, which I like. Adding type hints, which I like. Doc strings, yeah, that's nice to have. Utility methods to enums for better usability, okay. Okay, some, not too much, but some nice additions here. Okay, so from typing import, list optional union. So what does it do from string? So it's taking a category and returning string. Or what is it actually doing? Get enum member from string value. Okay, taking in a string and returning a enum. Then we have this new age group enum. Looks good. And some helper classes get all age groups. Returns a list of strings. And then it's converting a age group string to an age group enum. Yeah, and adding the proper types here. Actually, you can send in either a question category or string, or age group or string, which is nice. And it's checking if it is of enum type, it will extract the string. Great. And now we are in question generator, so we are importing these enums. Perfect. Some validation. Yeah, just making use of this. Okay, great. So then this sample should still work, but it doesn't. How come? Import error, cannot import age group from question samples. Okay. Why not? Age groups is definitely here, right? From question samples. From question samples, import age group. Is it because I have not saved this file? Probably. Let's run it again, and it seems to work fine. Let's change this to delete. Seems to work. More info about the category. Yep. Okay, I think I am happy. Done. And I will commit. And this was prompt number Where is my prompt plan? I am going to do this, and I'm going to pin it and put it here, so it's always at the left side. So this was prompt 3. Okay, and I think that's gonna be it for this video. It's getting late here, so I have to go to bed soon. It was a little bit slower than I liked, but still, I'm very happy with the progress. I'm very happy that we are moving forward in a very controlled way. Before, when I've used LLM, I'm moving a little bit too fast and not in a structured manner, and it's easy to get lost a little bit. But now I feel like I have a good overview of the code so far. So that's good. So next time we'll continue with prompt number 4 and start actually sending some prompts to OpenAI API. Thank you for watching, and see you next time. Bye.